She said he was just fixing the sink. But the night I found his work boots under our bed, I knew exactly what he'd been fixing. And it wasn't the plumbing. My name is Tom, and I thought I had it all. I'm 50, live in a quiet cul-de-sac in Plano, Texas. Worked 26 years in the same auto parts warehouse. Steady job, benefits, pension coming. People like to say I'm old school. I take it as a compliment. I married my high school sweetheart, Carla, back in 1997. She had the kind of laugh that made everyone in a room turn their heads. I still remember her red dress from senior prom. We had 2 kids, Matt and Lauren. Good kids, both grown now. Matt works in cybersecurity up in Austin. Lauren's finishing her degree in nursing. We were empty nesters for the first time in years. It should have been our second honeymoon. Instead, it became the slow, quiet death of our marriage. Life looked normal from the outside. Carla worked part-time at a dental clinic, reception mostly. She liked her schedule flexible so she could do gardening, yoga, brunch with her sister. I never minded. We'd earned that life, paid off the mortgage early, never missed a birthday or Christmas. Evenings were quiet. We watched Wheel of Fortune, then something on Netflix. I grilled on Sundays. She baked those lemon bars she loved. We talked less than we used to, but I chalked it up to routine, familiarity. We were comfortable. That's the word I used back then. Comfortable. Now I realize it was something closer to numb. Small changes I chose to ignore. It started subtle. She'd linger on her phone at night, typing and smiling. I asked who it was, and she said, Marissa from yoga, or her cousin Rachel. I had no reason to doubt her, but I noticed her tone changed around me. She got sharper, quieter. Sometimes annoyed even when I hadn't done anything. If I left a dish in the sink, she'd snap. If I folded the towels wrong, she'd sigh loud enough to wake the dog. I remember asking jokingly, "You tired of me yet?" She smiled. Of course not. But it didn't reach her eyes. Then came the renovation talk. The sink, the bathroom, the man. She said the downstairs bathroom needed work. Leak under the sink. Something about mold. I offered to take a look. I wasn't a professional, but I could handle basic repairs. She waved me off. No offense, babe, but I want this done right. I'll call someone. Didn't even look at me when she said it. A few days later, she said a guy named Rick was coming by. He's local. Came recommended on a Facebook group, she said. Mid-40s, does everything. Sinks, tile, cabinets. I didn't think much of it. Why would I? Rick started showing up every few days. I worked the 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. shift, so I was gone most of the day. She'd say he was here earlier, or he just left. One Saturday, I came home early and saw a white van in the driveway. She met me at the door, hair a little messy, cheeks flushed. Rick's in the back, measuring tile, she said a bit too fast. Want a sandwich? I shrugged it off. Why would a grown man assume his wife is cheating with the plumber? That's just something out of a bad sitcom, not real life. But something felt wrong. I'd come home and the bathroom looked exactly the same for weeks. She said it was progressing, but all I saw was a couple of tools and a shop rag. One night I got up to pee around 2 a.m. The bathroom light downstairs was on. I crept down, half asleep. The light was on. The door slightly open, but no one was inside. Just a damp towel on the floor and a faint smell of cologne that wasn't mine. Matt's visit changed everything. Our son Matt came to visit one weekend. He's 25, sharp, observant, a little too blunt. We were watching the Cowboys game when he suddenly asked, "Hey, Dad, who's the guy in the white van that parks outside sometimes?" I looked up. "What van?" He pointed out the window, parked 2 houses down. White van, no logo, just sitting there. "That one," he said. "I've seen him here before. Mom waved at him earlier." A slow, cold feeling crept into my chest. "That's Rick," I said. "The plumber." Matt looked at me sideways. "Since when do plumbers make house calls 3 times a week?" I didn't answer, because I didn't have one. Doubt turned into obsession. That night I stayed up, pretended to sleep, but my eyes were on the hallway. At 11:47 p.m., I heard it. The quiet click of the back door, whispers, a soft laugh. Huraman, I got up, walked quietly to the top of the stairs. I couldn't see them, but I saw his boots by the door. Muddy, big, not mine. And that's when I knew. Not suspected, knew. The morning after, I didn't sleep. Just sat in my recliner in the dark, watching the ceiling fan spin like it was going to give me answers. Around 6:10 a.m., Carla came downstairs like nothing had happened. Hair up, robe on. She was humming. She poured coffee, asked if I wanted eggs. I stared at her, not because I didn't recognize her, but because I suddenly realized I hadn't really seen her in years. No eggs, I said. I've got an appetite for the truth instead. She froze, her hand mid-reach for the coffee pot. What's that supposed to mean? I stood up. Whose boots were by the door last night, Carla? No more games. She blinked. A second, maybe two. Then came the smile. Tight, controlled, defensive. Oh my God, Tom, are you serious? You're spying on me now? Number I was awake. Because Rick's been in this house more than I have lately. Because our bathroom's been under renovation for a month, and there's still mildew on the damn faucet. And because I'm not an idiot. Silence. Then, she turned, poured herself the coffee like we were discussing the weather. I think you're overreacting, she said. Rick's been helping with more than just plumbing. He's also a handyman. We talked. A lot. That's all. I walked to the drawer, opened it, pulled out the receipt I found tucked behind the microwave last week. 2 nights at a La Quinta Inn, paid in cash. Her name signed at the bottom. Was he doing handyman work here? I said slowly, or there? The mask slips, her face turned white. She looked at the receipt like it was radioactive. Then came the tears, the real kind, but not the kind that begged for forgiveness. The kind that begged not to be hated. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. That sentence again, that universal line. I didn't answer. She sat down slowly, hugged her knees, didn't look at me. It started with the sink, she said. We just talked. I was lonely. You work so much. You don't even look at me anymore. Rick, he noticed me. My chest tightened. I noticed you, I said quietly, but you didn't want to be noticed. You wanted to be worshipped. And Rick, he doesn't know you like I do. He doesn't know the real you. Just the version you sold him. She looked up. And what version did you fall in love with, Tom? The 25-year-old in the red dress? Or the 50-year-old with crow's feet and back pain and no sex drive? That hit harder than I expected. Truth raw and ugly. I didn't want to cheat, she said, but I felt like a ghost in this house. You barely touched me. We talked about bills, the kids, your blood pressure. That was it. I sat down across from her, not angry, not yelling, just empty. Why didn't you just tell me? She didn't answer. I stood up, walked to the living room, looked at the family photo on the wall. Taken 3 Christmases ago, matching sweaters, forced smiles. That was the year I thought we'd finally made it. House paid off, no major health issues, kids grown. I thought it was the start of something easy, but for her, it was the start of something gone. Rick, I asked about him. He's divorced, lives alone, fixes houses, drinks too much beer, listens to 90s rock. He's not going to be in my life forever, she said. So it was just a fling? She shook her head. Number it was emotional. That's worse, isn't it? I didn't answer. The silence stretched too long. Then I said it. I'm leaving for a few days. You tell the kids. Her eyes widened. Don't punish them for this. I'm not. I'm protecting myself from becoming a man I won't recognize. I told Matt first. I called him from a gas station parking lot. Dad, everything okay? No, I said, but I'll survive. I told him. Not the full details, just enough. He was quiet for a long time. Then, do you want me to come down? No, I said, not yet. Do you want me to hurt him? I actually smiled. Number, I just want to feel like a man again. And I can't do that from inside that house. The motel, same one I used to stay in during warehouse trainings. 20 years ago. Smelled like bleach and disappointment. TV remote didn't work. Air conditioner made a clicking sound. But the bed was clean, and no one lied to me inside those four walls. I stared at the ceiling, thought about the last 25 years. All the moments I'd missed. Not because I didn't care, but because I thought we had time. Time is a liar. So is routine. The call 3 nights later, she called. Not crying, just tired. I told Lauren, she said, she's not speaking to me. And Matt? He already knew something was wrong. Of course he did. He's smarter than both of us. What do you want me to do, Tom? She asked. And for the first time, I didn't know the answer. Coming back, but not home. I came back after a week. The house was clean. She wasn't home. There was a note on the kitchen table. Staying at Karen's. Call me if you want to talk. I didn't call. Instead, I sat down on the couch and stared at the ceiling. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I had to do anything. The next morning, I went back to work. Quietly, no big announcements. Nobody asked questions. But my coworker Ben just said, "It happens." Everyone thinks it won't happen to them until it does. He knew. That look in his eyes. A man who'd already been through it. The kids, Lauren didn't speak to her mom for 2 months. She came down one weekend, hugged me hard. We sat out back, just sipping beer and listening to the wind. She spoke first. I always knew you were the one holding this house together, not Mom. I didn't reply. You know you don't have to forgive her, right? I know, I said, but holding on to it feels like carrying a heavy backpack for the rest of my life. I just want to set it down. The conversation we should have had years ago. A week later, Carla showed up on her own. She looked different, tired, older, or maybe I was just seeing her clearly for the first time. We sat in the kitchen, her favorite spot. I don't see a future for this marriage anymore, she said. Calm, no drama. I don't either, and I said. For the first time in years, we were honest with each other. We agreed, no lawyers, no court, sell the house, split it, one dinner with the kids to explain things, and then go our separate ways. The divorce. It was finalized 3 months later. No screaming, no begging, just two adults packing up a shared life, piece by piece. I moved into a small house near the river. First time in 20 years, I had something that was just mine. My neighbor's a retired vet. We drink coffee on Sundays. Carla still works at the dental clinic. Rick's out of the picture. Apparently bailed once she told him we were divorcing. Turns out he wasn't a hero. Just a guy with a toolbox and some smooth lines. What came after I started going to the gym? Not to impress anyone, just to feel my body again. To remind myself I'm alive. I read more than ever. Bought a Kindle. Finished The Old Man and the Sea, and for the first time, I understood Hemingway. It's not about a fish. It's about loss. About fighting the inevitable. About being invisible and still choosing to stand tall. I cried that night. Not for Carla. For me. What I've learned, I'm not a victim. I was a man who gave his marriage structure, safety, a roof, and respect. But I didn't give it presence. I thought showing up physically was enough. It wasn't. But her cheating, that was her choice. Her silence, her lie. And I don't carry the blame for that anymore. It doesn't hurt now. I don't hate her. I don't love her. I just don't miss her. Now I go fishing alone sometimes. Sometimes Lauren joins me. She jokes that she's become my second wife. I laugh and say, if I ever go on another date, you're coming with me. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe love, maybe not. But I know this. It's better to be alone than to sleep next to a stranger who wears your last name.